welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March. I hope you are well. I'm using the Crow Tarot for you today. I don't think I have anything to tell you. If the reading resonates with you and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended at the end. The link for that will be in the description box. But I think we should just get straight on with this. So, tell me what's going on with Capricorn right now, please. Whoa. It's the Knight of Wands, which made a rather spectacular Knight of Wands exit from the deck there. This current energy for Capricorn, please. We've got the Sun. Wow. And what's coming towards Capricorn for March, please? Oh, there we go. We've got the Five of Wands. In some ways, a bit of a departure from the energy that we've seen here, but actually not that much because it's all fire for you, Capricorn. We've got the Ten of Wands at the bottom of the deck, which is a card that is primarily concerned with burden, right? It's a card that often speaks about burning the candle at both ends, like taking on too much. Sometimes it talks about doing things the wrong way, like the hard way around. But we'll get some clarifiers and we'll see what's going on with this. Because the Five of Wands is a Leo card, as is the Sun. And so it's all fire for you this month. And sometimes fire needs to be contained a little bit. But we'll get some clarifiers and we'll see what this is. You know, lest it burn out of control. Let me shut the window. Right, tell me about the Knight of Wands, please. Thank you. We have the Two of Swords, we have the Chariot, and we have the Lover's card. That's a very strong set of cards right there. There we go. Tell me about the Sun, please. Where's the Sun here for Capricorn? We've got the Knight of Pentacles. And we've got the Ace of Cups. Astonishing. That's really quite dramatic, actually. Tell me about the Five of Wands. Why is this here for Capricorn? Hello. Got the Five of Wands again. And more for Capricorn, please. Six of Wands. This is fantastic. We have the Moon at the bottom of the deck here, and I can kind of already feel how this reading is building. It's interesting, when I was doing the meditation before I started your reading, there was just one phrase that kept repeating over and over again, and it was tidying up, tidying up, tidying up. And I was like, what the fuck was this? But I can kind of see how it's relevant here, because there is some tidying up that is going to need to occur for you in March, but that's okay, right? So we start with the Knight of Wands, which is an interesting card because it's... As polarities go, I think the energy of Sagittarius is really quite opposite to yours, where Capricorn tends to be associated with more with delayed gratification, patience, you know, building something and starting very small and kind of building on the back of it all the time. You know, it's sort of very much concerned with construction and whatnot. Sorry, my tummy's rumbling. You can hear gurgling away. Sagittarius lives very much in the moment, or at least, you know, if they're operating in their right energy, they are living in the moment. And they're a little less interested in consequences than Capricorn is as a sign, right? It's all about the here, the now, what's going on with that. Now, you might be dealing with a Sagittarius, or, which I feel is more likely, there seems to have been some sort of systemic shift in your head, because it's about the way that you do things, Capricorn, and it seems like it's been completely overhauled. Now, not in such a way as to make you deeply uncomfortable, although I think that you should expect that there will be consequences of throwing things up in the air quite as much as you have done. You know, I don't feel like you've all disregarded any plans that you might have for the future, but certainly it seems like your eye has been taken from there to kind of here, or what's going on in front of you here, because it seems like all sorts of things are being revealed to you. I mean, I've got the Moon card at the bottom of the deck here. Ooh, and the Fool. I wonder if some of you have realised, you know, possibly how trapped you have made yourself while you've been working away at the plan that you've been on, like the path that you've been on, you kind of inadvertently kind of boxed yourself in somewhat. And I feel like you are seeing things differently now. You know, the Fool card is sitting behind the Moon because actually maybe what you want is a little bit more freedom, a little bit more liberation. And to do that, you've needed to give yourself permission to step away from that which you have been so disciplined towards, you know. The the realistic kind of timbre, I guess, that you apply all of your world dealings with. It's like, well, money has to be made, security has to be built, you know, all of these sorts of things. But we've seen this happening with you for a good year now, Capricorn. It's just like little minute sort of readjustments, not just in the way that you see the world, but in the way that you engage with it and what you want from your life moving forwards. You know, both the Moon and the Two of Swords in some ways talk about things that are hidden. Now, with the Moon, they are just directly hidden, and sometimes those can be your subconscious, you know, goings on. This is about the things that you choose not to see. And I feel like that's been cracked open, because what you're now seeing is what you have chosen not to see. And we've got the Lovers and the Chariot, or actually the Chariot and the Lovers, that way around, appearing here. Both cards that speak very clearly about balance and bringing oneself into balance and into harmony with all sorts of things, you know, whether it's your personal energies, or whether it's people, or whether it's your environment, you know, whatever it is. The Chariot talks about getting all of your ducks in a row, right? Pulling your sphinxes into alignment so that you can hit a goal that you want. But the goal that you've been aiming towards, I feel like it's shifting and morphing in front of you. And your energy almost feels not quite giddy, but it's getting there, you know. It feels like you've had a major breakthrough recently, Capricorn, and now everything is on the table, right? Everything. There's a process of renewal going on here that's very, very strong, and it feels very empowered, because now what we've got here, you know, your current energy of the Sun, like I said, it's a card of Leo and very much about fire, is a sense of empowerment. You feel like you've dropped the shackles of something. And with this Lovers card, it's like, oh, I can do whatever I want. What do I actually want to do? The Sun says, I want to be happy. I want to be content. I want to be able to be vulnerable and not feel like that's a threat. And it seems to me, Capricorn, that you are absolutely achieving this at the moment, because we've got the Knight of Pentacles and we've got the Cup here. The Cup, well, it is the Cup, right? The Ace of Cups. Missed out some words there. The Knight of Pentacles is you bringing your characteristic earth sign energy to whatever it is that you do. So, you know, you see things through to completion. You don't leave things unfinished. And I wonder if this is where the tidying up thing is coming from, right? It's Virgo energy, but it talks about committing to something, right? Choosing to see something through to an end. And then we've got here this Ace of Cups. Now, this can be new relationships, absolutely, but it can also, and I see this more often, be a recommitting to self, right? In so much as it could be you committing to yourself within a relationship, and therefore by extension committing to the relationship. It's like, I actually want this thing to continue, so I'm going to work on myself and make sure that I can keep it here. It feels like a renewal, like I said, but whilst you're bringing that earth sign energy to whatever it is that you're doing, emotions seem like they're far, far more important to you now than they have been in the past. Well, let's pull some more cards on this. Let's pull out here, this Triple Goddess. Because I think everything is fine. I think everything in your environment is fine, and I don't think anything of it has changed in the last couple of months per se. I feel like it's probably been quite almost pedestrian in some ways, but in a way that you kind of like, because everything's kind of predictable, right? Everything is on plan. What's changed is the way that you are engaging with this plan now. Like I said, there may be a realization that you've somewhat boxed yourself in with what it is that you were doing, and this shift in the mind now is no longer entirely in alignment with what it is that you've been planning to do. Tell me about this Knight of Pentacles and Ace of Cups, please. We've got the Death card, we've got the Tower card, and we've got the King of Wands. If these aren't cards that are screaming of change by your hand, Capricorn, I don't know what is. There we go. Look. So we've got more Leo energy here, which is interesting because it's very fixed energy. And we know Capricorns don't like change too much. You resist change unless it's change that you bring. And you are bringing the change. We've got the Death card indicating both the end of something, but also inherently within that, the beginning of something else. We've got the Tower card, which speaks of great instability, right? The Tower card is a card of disruption. I love this Tower card in this deck because I didn't really understand it until I realized that actually that's how it's supposed to look. But when the Tower hits, that's how we feel there. But it's come up with the King of Wands. All of this Leo energy, this action energy that you are tuning into here. I think the energy of Sagittarius would be a little bit too much. It would be too brutal for you to deal with because it would involve this complete eradication of future kind of plans and energies and stuff, and it would be purely focused on the right now. But because Leo is a fixed sign, there are elements of both there that it feels to me like you can work with quite nicely. There is the fixed nature of it, but there is also the action that comes with it, and you know, it's kind of peppering through the reading here. But it tells me very much that you are looking to change the balances of everything. Now, it might be that you've decided that, you know, the money that you earn is actually quite nice and you like that very much, but how can you change your working week so that you get a bit of time for you, or you get a bit of time to spend with your significant other or your friends or your family, you know, however it applies to you. You're not talking about just quitting your job and, you know, going travelling instead, although some of you might actually be thinking about that. You know, maybe you've got a little bit tucked away in the bank and you're like, oh, do you know what, I could afford to take a year off now, everything's starting to open up a little bit, maybe I could just go and do what I've always wanted to do. And that's possible, but not as likely for all of you as the sense of, this is a little Robin Reliance just drove past. I didn't even realise that they were still a thing. For those of you in the UK who don't know what those are, they're like three-wheeled cars. They've got, they were renowned for tipping over if you went around a corner too fast. Very fashionable in the 80s, you don't see them anymore. Anyway, for more of you, I think that it is gentle tweaks and twists of things, and it's like, oh, how can I make this all a bit more efficient so that I've got time for me, so that I've got time for my friends, so that I've got time for me to do things that I actually want, and actually travelling may be a part of that. You feel excited to me, Capricorn. Really properly excited about the potential that any adjustments that you make now may hold for you in the future, which is a very Capricorn kind of take on this sort of thing. I noticed that you also have this Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck here. And the Two of Wands is a card of a crossroads moment. I mean, we've got this woman here with her hand on each of the wands, and it's like, well, which way am I going to go? What am I going to do? You know, she feels to me like she's looking out over an ocean scene or a mountain scene or something like that. But there's a sense of what she's been building here no longer being the be-all and end-all of everything. Now it's about, actually, there's something over there and I would really like to go and see. How do I adjust everything that I have in my life now so that I can do that, so that I can attain that? Oh, shit. And I think that you're quite prepared to disrupt a lot of things. So maybe you've decided that actually you could cope with a little bit less money if you had a bit more free time. You know, like I said, maybe you built up a little cushion, and actually it's okay for you to take a bit of time off. The King of Wands here, that's quite interestingly, in the triple goddess, all of the kings are women. She's writing in a book here, which is the only depiction of the King of Wands that I have where there are notes being taken. It's almost like a plan is being created, but we know that it's the precursor to some big moves that are coming. Like, even if you didn't have this Death card and the Tower card next to them, big moves in a particular direction, and one that feels to you like it speaks to you here rather than up here or out there, something like it's coming straight from here. Now, the interesting thing for me, again, is that we've got even more Leo cards here in what's coming towards you in March. We've got that Five of Wands there, which was clarified again by the Five of Wands and the Six. And I think that this is important because the Five of Wands is a card also of disruption, right? All of the cards numbered 5 in the minor arcana are disruptive cards. Aquarian insight calls them the agents of chaos, and she's correct. She's absolutely correct in that definition of that, because a 4 is very foundational level stuff, right? This is when we build the things. The 5s just blow it all up again, not for shits and giggles, not to punish you, not to torture you, but to make you learn something, to consider something from a different perspective. You know, it gives you an opportunity to do it again and make it better. Now, I also see the Five of Wands often as referring to internal conflict. Yeah, where you kind of like, So we've got all of this disruptive energy, and we've got some conflict coming up off the back of it. Now, like I said before, I believe that the disruption is coming from you. I don't think that this is like a sudden job loss or losing your home or anything like that. Although there is the possibility that that might be there. So it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention it. But it feels like it's directed by and originating from you. So controlled demolition possibly is a way of looking at this, but March feels like maybe second guessing, maybe consequences of the disruption that you're starting to bring in now, you know, and how it comes from other people. Let's get some clarifiers for this. Tell me about the Five of Wands, please. Five of Wands. We've got the Nine of Swords, and we've got the Hierophant in reverse. Yeah, spot on, perfect. So March feels like you kind of stepping back mentally a little bit on what was so exciting to you in the present and in the recent past. Not for any reason other than this is your kind of sensible side kicking in. Right? Maybe you have got lost a little bit in a flight of fancy about something that you could do. That's possible. But that side of you that is so disciplined, right, is going to have its say in March. Right? The Nine of Swords is a card of concern. It is a card of worry. Have I gone too far? Have I done too much? You know, the Hierophant is a card of Taurus, but it speaks to established hierarchies. It talks, you know, of institutions that are very set, and that you can sometimes talk about society too, right? When we see the Hierophant showing up in its reverse, it is about things flipping upside down, and that is a very uncomfortable place for a lot of people to be. Particularly earth signs, although of all of the earth signs, you are the one who is most able to deal with it, right? Chaos is a ladder, and I think that if you can hold on to that idea that there are opportunities in the chaos, like you flipped everything upside down for a reason. Now, where are the opportunities that are sitting within them? They may not be the ones that you planned for, but they may be better for you. I do feel you being very, very uncomfortable about the kind of instability that you kind of brought down on your own head. But there's the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and this is important, because this is about your emotional well-being. And it feels to me like all of the changes that you are bringing in are with a mind to bringing more of what actually lights you up into your life. What do we have here? We've got the Seven of Swords behind the Nine of Cups. Like, there are risks that need to be taken in order to get to where it is that you want to go. I'll put those back in there. Tell me a bit more about this Five of Wands. Yeah, like, there it is. The conflict is between heart and head. There's the Knight of Cups. Right? That's the card of Pisces. This is I do feel like you opened up quite a lot, and it feels like new layers of life are suddenly exposed to you, and you've picked them up and you've run with them. But it does feel like your head is getting involved now, and I mean, some of you might be catastrophizing about what you just look at these cards here, like they were the wrong way around, and I've just picked them up. You've got the Five of Wands, and you've got the Ace of Cups, and you've got the Strength card, right? You're being called to grow beyond what it is that you've built for yourself here, right? And every act of creation involves an act of destruction somewhere along the line, and you are at a point where you're kind of blowing up a lot of things that you've spent a lot of time investing in. Right, your time and your care and your effort. Maybe it's your money as well, or maybe the money is the sideline thing. But you know, there's a way of reading this to see, like, maybe you've had a relationship that's just been kind of tickling on for a little while, you know, while you've been doing other things, and it's okay and it's comfortable, but actually there's potential for this to be so much more, and suddenly you realize that you want it to be so much more. So you want a partner to move in with you, or you want to move in with them, or you want to get married, or you want to do something, you know, and it's going to involve moving away from what has been very comfortable and doing something else. Conversely, we could also see this being the other way around. Maybe you have been in a relationship for a long time that, you know, is comfortable but not in any way kind of emotionally fulfilling, but that was all right because it was comfortable and, you know, it worked. So if it ain't broke, why fix it, you know? And suddenly you've realized that actually you do want that really deep sense of connection with someone. You want to spend your life with someone who lights you up, you know? And with this Hierophant in reverse, the Nine of Swords, the Death card, the Tower card, maybe you just realized that this relationship has come to an end, and maybe it came to an end several years ago and you've only just noticed. But now the desire for freedom here has suddenly bubbled to the surface, and you're like, holy shit, I need to get out of this. I need to change this. I need to be able to breathe again. Like, I hadn't realized that I'd got so stagnant in my relationships. Like, those are just two examples of the way that we could see this playing out, but we could see it happening in all other areas of your life too. You know, we could be talking about your work, be talking about literally where you live right now. And there are several countries in the world that I personally would be running away from as it happens. You know, maybe this is you too. But the Six of Wands is the bright side in all of this for you in March, because like some of this energy is a bit heavy. Nine of Swords, a bit heavy, you know. Hierophant's a bit heavy. I actually don't feel the Death or the Tower card being heavy for you at all, because it just feels like it's opening you up and you're like, holy shit, I'm going to do something different. The Six of Wands is mitigating the Five of Wands here, because the Five of Wands is your internal conflict. It is that tension between heart and head here. The Six of Wands is victory. It's moving on. It's the next card, obviously, in the minor arcana from the Five. We are moving away from conflict and to a place of victory. There is movement altogether here. So if you have felt stagnant and that's why you blew everything up, and now you're panicking about the fact that you've blown everything up, like, give the dust time to settle. What about the Six of Wands, please? Thank you. Six of Wands. Yeah, like, we've got the Two of Swords, we've got the World card. Right? It's what you do not see, what you have not seen, what you choose not to see, is that actually everything's ended, and that's okay. That's a good thing. We've got the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. Like, literally everything is unfolding the way that it was supposed to, Capricorn. So if you've been acting kind of out of character a little bit just recently. I do feel like this has been a subconscious scream, you know, and it seems to me like you're acting on it. And whilst your mind might have something to say about that, you know, there's a sense of terror in what you might have just done. At the same time, where the energy is concerned, you've done the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You will be doing the right thing in March, because this is all kind of laid out here for you. It's all exactly what you were supposed to be doing. There's the Devil card underneath the Wheel of Fortune, and it's here with the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles here. You have got quite restricted in your thinking, not on purpose and not in any way other than it didn't occur to you that you could do something different to the way that it has been until now, and now you do. Maybe you haven't realized just how unhappy you've been in the situation that you're at. You know, the Seven of Pentacles for me is a card kind of taking stock. I mean, like, well, shit, this isn't great. Like, where do I go from here? Do I need to put more energy into it, or do I actually just need to cut my losses? Like, what is your heart telling you to do right now, Capricorn? Because it seems to me that the only place in which you have any issue at all is your head. And in this situation, the way that the energies are playing out here, this is not a situation where your head needs to have anything to say about this, because it's almost like you've been allowing that to dictate your path a little too much, and now your subconscious and your emotional state are going, excuse me, what about us? We need to do something now, and you've done it. And then before you know what you've done it, and you're like, oh shit, now here are the consequences. But if you were unhappy enough, if you were feeling stuck enough to have felt the need to throw the chips up in the air, then I would listen to yourself, right? Because it's nice to see this other energy kind of really ripping through you at the moment, Capricorn. This is good. I like it. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. We're going to look at March specifically and see what's going on with that. So if you would like to join me over there, do feel free. The link is in the description box. If not, that's perfectly fine too. I will see you in a very short amount of time for the mid-months. But there really is a go with the energies here kind of feeling about this. This is not a month for resisting what your heart wants for whatever reason, because it's pulling you somewhere that you may not have gone otherwise. And there are things for you there, Capricorn. There are new things for you there. So, like I said, I shall leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.